Oh, Jason, my number one fan. For the longest time, I thought my mom was my number one fan, but now it's you. And if you wait for a second, I'm going to get some people on here and hopefully chat with some of you guys. But during my lunch break, I'm going to do a little coffee and chat. So HighFIveFriday usually consists of 5 things that I usually like to share. A podcast that I'm listening to really like motivate me or just learn something. I usually share a quote. That quote will come from a book that I'm reading, something that popped up online. It could be from the podcast. It just doesn't, depends. Something that I heard that stood out to me. I will want to share that with you guys. So podcast, quote, music. Music is a big part of my life, and so as a lot of you guys know, I run, and the 2 of you that are watching, I run often, and so music will usually be something that really motivates me, so I'll share that. And then personal development, something that I'm doing for myself to really help me be a little bit better. And then lastly, I'm changing it, but I'm doing something called a pro tip. So this week's HighFIveFriday, I'll go over some of those things, and then if you guys have a question or if you want to give me your comments on something, let me know and request to just chat with me, and yeah, I'll make it happen. So number 1, the podcast. It's Joe Rogan, number 1439, and he interviews Michael Osterholm. Osterholm? I don't know how to pronounce it. Anyway, he is a scientist, and he's been working on the COVID-19 project for a long time, way before we ever thought, or way before we ever knew anything about it. And I'm sure a lot of us are like keeping up with the news or articles and whatnot, and this one specific podcast for me like really stood out because it was super informative. How long we've known about it, or how long maybe the government has known about it, how long people have been working on it, etc. And it just gives some tips that maybe we're already doing on how to stay healthy, how to prevent it from spreading more, or how to slow it down, what we can expect in the next few months, etc. And so if you would like interesting podcasts with interesting people, Joe Rogan is one of my favorites. And again, interview 1439 just came out, so you can find it on Apple, or I found it on YouTube, and then I just have it in the background listening to it. So yeah, I recommend that one highly. So that's number 1. Number 2, the quote for the week is from someone that I've been following really closely for months now, David Goggins, and he has a book that I just finished called Can't Hurt Me, and it's all about mental toughness. It's all about pushing through every single obstacle that comes your way, and knowing that when you give 100%, you're really only at 40% of your full capacity. So there's a lot of room left in the tank. The quote from him that I want to share with you guys is, it's all about callousing the mind. Do something that sucks. And the reason why I like that quote is because I really believe that when you work on mental toughness, it really, when things get hard, your mind's already in the right frame. You know how to deal with things. And I can't think of a better book that I recommend if you want to just improve confidence but your like mental state of mind than this book by David Goggins. And so that's the quote. Callous your mind, do something that sucks. So for me, what sucks right now is still waking up at 5 a.m. and getting out there and running. What up, people? Welcome. I'm going over the HighFIveFriday bullet points, and then I really want to have like a little discussion with anyone just about any of these topics. So podcast from Joe Rogan, quote from David Goggins. Music for this week is from Whipped Cream. She is no longer an up-and-coming artist. She already made it. She's headlining festivals, and for me it's really awesome to see someone that you've followed for years, someone that was just like a bedroom producer, then started playing shows, then DJing, and now she is not only touring the world and playing and selling out festival slots for her, but she just produced a track that's number 2 on Birds of a Prey. So check her out, Whipped Cream. The song that I really like from hers that I've been listening to over and over this week is called The Greatest. And for obvious reasons, I just think the messaging behind it is really cool, and it just says like, I'm the greatest. And so I'm not saying that I'm the greatest, but I am saying that I'm the greatest. I'm the greatest to myself. So check it out. It's a super awesome track. Personal development, something that I'm doing or trying to do this week to really just keep my mind right and keep moving forward, is to stick with my routines. Routines, hands down, are the one thing that have allowed me to be the most successful in my life. From losing weight, from running 100 miles a month, from XYZ accomplishing photo goals, career goals. It's all about little daily routines. And I think in a moment like this is a time where routines really matter, because if you're like me and you live in a tiny ass studio, it's really hard when you your bed's right there and then your office is right here and then the kitchen's like right there. That's as much as space that I have, so I can go a little bit crazy. But routines have allowed me to still stay disciplined and keep moving forward. And so that's just something that I'm trying to do, and hopefully it helps you guys, because I know, for example, a lot of people most likely are still in their pajamas or are in super loungy clothes. But a tip that my boss Barney gave me that I really appreciate it is to still work through your day like if you were going straight to the office. So waking up, getting dressed, having your to-do list. And so that's something that I'm still trying to apply. What I wrote down is moments when no one is watching are moments when you can grow personally. Work from home is a test to myself to stay on task, to keep with my routines, to eat well, to work out, to not make excuses. And these are the moments that define us. So if you agree with that, let me know. I know Danielle, who is watching, I see you on IG, I see you still working out, I see you still running, I see you eating healthy, and that really motivates me, so thank you for doing that. And then lastly, the fifth thing, and then I'll open it up to some questions and discussions, is a pro tip. And the pro tip that I have is to plan ahead. So before I worked at K-Swiss, I was freelancing and I was doing photography, design, social media, like anything I could. And I always planned ahead, like if I got this one client, how much money am I going to make off this client? How much money do I need to save for, let's say, taxes? How much money for rent? And then put away the rest. Before I even did any of that, as soon as I got paid for whatever client, I'd always save 20%. And this is just a habit that came from childhood, but I didn't really start applying it until I had no money. And so when I had no money in my early 30s, when I say no money, I'm talking like $0 and in debt. And now it's the opposite, where I'm in no debt, thank God, but I'm able to still keep that mindset of saving money. What's up, Jordan? Over and over. So this is just a pro tip, because I've gotten a lot of emails from people saying, hey, hard times, XYZ, is there anything I can do for you guys, or can you help me out, or whatever it is. And honestly, I'm trying to do the best that I can, but the tip that I have is if you're a freelancer, always plan ahead, because you never know when situations like this are going to happen. And so save 20% of your money and put it away, as just do not touch it. I actually have an online savings account that I when I get paid on my US bank account, I transfer money there and then I don't touch it. And if I really need it, which has happened a few times, it's such a pain in the ass to transfer money from an online account to my account that that's really helped me kind of be prepared for a situation like this. So that's just a pro tip that I wanted to share with anyone that's freelancing. Is as soon as our economy and as soon as things get kind of back to normal, please start, value yourself a lot more. Say yes to as many gigs as you possibly can. What's up, Ishan? And save your money, because like I said, you don't know when things are going to go bad, and it's good to have something for moments like this. So those are just like the things that have been on my mind. I've been really quiet lately, but like a lot of you, and I'm sure a couple of my teammates that are watching, we've literally just kind of been hunkered down, working more hours than before, and being in way more meetings. And for me, it's just been a big learning experience, a lot of fun. But I almost feel like I've gone back to my freelance days where you have to push yourself because no one's going to push you at all. So anyways, that's what I got. Let me see if anyone here that is watching would like to join. The first one that I want to chat with real quick, if he's on here, and I think he'll attest to this, is my man Nate. What's up, Jessica? Welcome to the live. Let's see if Nate gets on here. By the way, I'm sipping on some coffee in my K-Swiss mug because, you know, I'm technically in the office and I have the K-Swiss stuff in the background. And for the what's up, Jeff? Jeff is actually a really good friend of mine in Seattle. When I moved there and I had like no opportunity, he was one of the dudes that actually really stuck his neck out for me and gave me a shot. And so follow him, amazing photographer, and does a bunch of cool stuff.
Good, bro.
Nate, where's your face at, dog?
Give me 1 second, man. You caught me fresh out the shower.
See? That's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I was saying. How about this? Get dressed, and I'll put you back up in a couple minutes.
I can't hear you. Let me get a headset.
But yeah, going back to Jeff, in Seattle, if you're ever there, there's a coffee place called Storyville, and he was a big part of their early success. He was a marketing manager or marketing director for them, so give him a shout, follow him. He's also got a beautiful family. Big Nate.
Here we go. What's good, brother? How you doing?
Good. Hey, so I'm just going to take like a few minutes and open this up to discussion, but you kind of heard what I was saying, and I just want to know your thoughts on some of the, you know, what are you doing to stay active, focus on task, everything, you know?
To be totally honest with you, brother, this hasn't slowed down nothing for me. It might have slowed down some of my freelance clients, but I still wake up every morning, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. I still work out. I go to my regular schedule, take a shower. Today was a little different for me because I actually got up early, ran to like 2 grocery stores, came back. But for the past month and a half, I've really just been in the house just working for clients, man. I only leave if I need to go to a meeting or a networking event. Other than that, man, I actually went on a, this past Sunday, I was on a digital conference called Quarantine Con. And I met people from the UK and people all over the country. And we got a chance to network. So I've been staying productive, brother.
Hell yeah. What do you...
Cooking.
And cooking, but you always cook. You always cook.
A lot more now.
I know that you're freelancing, and so what advice do you have for people that are freelancing, you know, especially at a time like this, and then how can they plan ahead?
Creators create. I'll say that. You just got to keep creating during this time. You can't let this time bring you down. This is the perfect time. Like what I've been doing is, I mean, as you know, I'm a marketing strategist. So what I've been doing is taking all the information that I've learned over the years by working with major brands, working with startups, and I've been sharing that information via my IG stories. So that's what I do. So I just did a 2-part series called How to Make Money as a TikTok Influencer. So I just did that. Next week I'm dropping another series that's going to be geared towards the brands themselves, how they can connect with influencers. So that's what I've been doing. I've been taking my knowledge and sharing it with people, helping creators create, helping people get some money out here. Like, this isn't, I'm gonna be honest with you, this isn't going anywhere anytime soon. It's not slowing down anytime soon. So what people need to do is be resourceful and create. Create opportunities for yourself. It's a lot easier said than done. I'm still trying to figure it out my damn self. But you just have to create during these times. And it doesn't have to be creative as far as doing something artistic. You just have to create opportunity for yourself. Take your strategic mind and make something happen. Don't depend on the government to bail this out, because we already know that's not going to happen.
Yeah. Man, that's great advice, and I couldn't agree with you more, man. Like, I've been in the situation, maybe not necessarily with being locked down because of a virus, but as far as like, oh shit, I have no money and I have no clients, and how the hell am I gonna do this and get out of this? Because it's not like anyone was handing me money. And that advice that you just gave is really what got me out of that, which was just creating opportunity. Exactly. And what that means for me might be different for someone else, but for me is just like, get out there and say yes to as many things as you can handle. Yes to things that will help you in the field that you want, and get out and put your name out there in every single place that you can, because the more eyes that see you, the more opportunity that you'll have. And document it, shit like you did, share things on Instagram stories. I'd recommend LinkedIn, every single one. LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Medium, like every single place, like hit it. What's up, Jonathan? All right, dude, well, you're the man.
You mentioned, I'm gonna say one thing, because you brought something up. Everybody, get on LinkedIn. If you've never got on LinkedIn before, this is the perfect time for you to get on LinkedIn, for you to network with people. And everybody's going through this. I'm seeing every day I go on and let go, but more and more people who are getting let go and being transparent about it, more and more people are out here trying to help everybody. So get on LinkedIn, network, be part of the creative community, and I'm not taking any more of your time. Peace out. Y'all be blessed. Creators create.
I love that, dude. Thank you so much for joining.
All right, blessings, brother.
That's my boy Nate. He really is like a stand-up guy, has a lot to offer, and I think it's one of the greatest things that I've loved about working in Los Angeles and at K-Swiss are the people that I've been able to connect with. So here's the next one. It's my girl Danielle, aka the Little Giant, aka Total Badass.
Hey, what up?
Dude, look at you getting after it right now.
How's it going?
It's going awesome. So, real quick for the viewers that are watching and listening, this is Danielle, professional tennis player, the Little Giant. She's got her Snoopy bandana on. And we did a podcast together that you can find on Turning Pro. K-Swiss podcast that to this day, like, I've listened to it a few times, and the stuff and the advice that you gave on there is so good.
Cool. I mean, I'm glad we could put some good stuff together, but whatever Nate said, like, you guys are creators. I think, like, athletes, we have to create too. We have to be a little creative during this time. The gyms are closed, the tennis courts are closed for me, and so I've spent like the past couple weeks just trying to uphold my fitness, find different ways to still go about my routine. So yeah, like everything you guys are saying, it hits home for me.
What do you think of the David Goggins book so far?
It's good. I think like the first chapter is a little tough for me to read, because like I've never like heard anything like that, and like you yourself, you can't imagine that stuff like that's real. Mm-hmm. But I think the clarity to change his life is amazing, and that's like the type of clarity I think we need to attack every day. Like we can sit at home and feel locked down, or we could use this time to be productive and get creative. I've been trying to do some webinars for some junior tennis parents, so that's like my creative outlet too, just to kind of give back to the tennis community. I've been doing a few like virtual fitness classes with the kids, so just being productive, but like in a different way, and like focusing on the things I can control.
That's awesome. That's really cool. What an awesome time to like really take advantage of like what we're doing right now, of like virtual calls. I feel like even our teams, we're having more meetings which is fine, but they're more, in my opinion, more productive meetings. And so it's a cool opportunity or a good time to just take advantage and grow together in a different way. And then when you see each other, I feel like you'll be bonded that much more.
Yeah, for sure.
Dang.
Yeah, I submitted that question. I was just curious, like, hey, what makes you great?
What makes me great?
Yeah.
I think just truthfully, it's my desire of chasing greatness. That's it.
That's good.
You know, I am only as great as I want to be, and I'm only as great as my positive routines. If I'm not doing those things, then I'm not great. I'm just being a piece of shit. So I'd rather not do that. And I'd rather do things that make me happy, positive, better, healthier, whatever. That's just like, I think everyone should do something like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. So the reason why I've been working on that too is because like I feel like during tough times, if we could really lean on what makes us great and like really draw on that energy and that confidence, it really helps a lot too. So I feel like, you know, everyone's got to, especially during this time, you can sit down and think about like, what makes you great? And it's not necessarily like what you do, it's like that intangible inside. You know, you got to think about, what in my mind, what makes me tick, that makes me great, that makes me like, you know, well, in my brain is like what makes me world class at what I do. So yeah, just like a tidbit.
No, that's great. Especially, I don't know who that is watching is single, but I really think that this is the time to find your greatness. That's really well said. Because if you're by yourself and you can't leave, and like me, and I going crazy, like I have to really dive into other things. And so I appreciate that. I'll let you get back to your workout. You're the best.
Okay.
If you're into the audiobooks, the David Goggins Can't Hurt Me book, I listened to it in audio. I'm not joking when I say I cried a couple times, and I'm like running. And I'm like choking up and crying. I was like, holy shit, like no one look at me. It's really powerful.
Yeah, so, no, it's a good read. I'm glad I'm getting to it right now.
All right, Danielle, keep it up. You're the best.
All right,
chat soon.
Take it easy. Crush it.
All right, I'll probably do 2 more, and then I got to get back to work because I'm on my lunch break right now, but I wanted to chat with you guys. And so before I get to the next person, real quick, I just want to go back and say thank you for watching. This is my HighFIveFriday series. And I started this years ago, like 2 years ago when I moved to Seattle and I didn't know anybody and I had no job. And I was like, okay, I'm going to document and write things that I'm doing to level up. And so every Friday I do these 5 bullet points. And so now, fast forward, I've gotten lazy with them, but I want to, do them as often as I can. So as a recap this week, my podcast that I'm listening to is Joe Rogan, number 1439. It's with scientist Michael Osterholm. Really great, informative podcast about COVID-19. The quote that really has been on my mind is, "It's all about callousing the mind. Do something that sucks." That's by David Goggins. You heard Danielle and I just talking about that. A track or music that I'm listening to over and over, like especially when I'm running or working out at home, is Whipped Cream, The Greatest. Such a dope track. Check it out. It's everywhere. Personal development, something that I'm doing, is just sticking to my routines. Waking up, working out, stretching, making my bed, doing my to-do list, even getting ready head to toe, cologne, everything. Like I want to do everything like if I was still going to the office, and these are moments that really define us. So what's going on, everyone that just joined? Much love. And then the last thing, which was the pro tip for this week, is to always plan ahead. I know that's like duh, but a lot of people that are struggling right now, maybe if you were to backtrack a year or two, you didn't plan ahead, and then maybe like now you're struggling in a little bit. I know I've been there, but moving forward, whatever you do, plan ahead. Save 20% of your money 100% of the time. I put 20% of my check with everything that I do in an online savings account that I never touch, and that's allowed me to have a little bit more comfort at a moment like this. And I'm super thankful for my job, but that's just the tip that I have for other people. Let me hop on here with Meek, who is an entrepreneur, has a digital marketing agency. I'm probably like blotching this, but what's good, my guy?
What's up, dude? How are you?
Good. First of all, congratulations on being engaged / technically you should be married.
Almost married.
Yesterday I hopped on your live, I think it was yesterday or the day before, and you were saying some really cool things just about mindset, about relationships and stuff like that. And I think what's up, Josh? And I think you've kind of heard my spiel a little bit, but tell me, dude, what are you doing as a CEO, as a boss, as like a husband, everything? Like, what are you doing in a moment like this?
There's a couple things I'm doing and thank you, by the way, for the congratulations. Can't actually wait to get married. But when it comes to work, actually what I'm physically doing right now is just doing some like financial projections and seeing where we're at. And thank God we're, still in a decent place, which is really nice. And really just like kind of preparing myself. It's funny how you're just saying like, look back, could you have been a little bit more prepared for right now? And it's like, yeah, there are a lot of places where I think everybody could have been a lot more prepared. But luckily, like I've always had that in mind. Eric Thomas says something along the lines of like, if you're always staying ready, you never have to get ready. Mm-hmm. And that's something that hit me really hard. So I always try to stay ready for something like this to happen. I've always thought about worst case scenarios. And I've always thought about, what would happen if all my clients dropped out tomorrow? What would I do? What would that strategic thing look like? And it's funny that I actually have to kind of put that into play. Luckily, we haven't like lost all of our clients or anything like that, but there's always that fear, especially right now, that might actually happen. As far as being like a husband is concerned, or I can't wait for fiance is concerned, honestly, like I love what your guy was saying, man. Like creators create, and at heart I really believe that I am a creator.